दक्षिणायन शरदृतु आश्वयुजमास शुक्लपक्ष पौर्णिमा शनिवार नक्षत्र Shubhodaya. Welcome you all for this my realization. What I said is about the Indian calendar. I thought, maybe a few evening in a couple of Yogashree celebration, not a very easiest topic to sit down with. I thought I would make it something simpler, easier, and informative too. I said about the Indian calendar. Actually, what we follow is the European calendar. There are certain interesting facts about the European calendar, let me tell you. When I was in the school, I had always this questioning attitude. In fact, please don't give up that questioning attitude. It's very useful. When I first started learning about math and decimals and all that, then the ideas came that deci is supposed to be 10, 1/10 of it, or 10 times decimeter. So like that. Similarly, nava is supposed to be 9. Octa is of course 8. That's what is octopus, octagon. So these are the things which we heard. And that was there in my mind. And suddenly when I started looking at the English calendar, and I see that we have a month called as October, which is supposed to be 10th month. It's not the 8th month. Nava is supposed to be 9th month, but it is 11th month. Nava is supposed to be representing 9. Definitely December comes from Deci, and that is supposed to be 10th month. So something somewhere wrong. Somewhere something happened. And this I was starting, I asked my teachers and all that, I didn't get good, suitable reply. They were confused. I started exploring myself. Then later on I found out an interesting fact. That is, the modern calendar, it used to have only 10 months. And 10 months came up from these 5 fingers and 5 fingers 10. 10 was the maximum count people would have. If you have seen the pictures in the ancient Greek, Roman kind of caves and all that, there are lines, the count by number, and that sheep account by the fingers, number of fingers. So what they used to do is that the count used to stop at 10. Beyond that there was nothing. And there, if you look at very carefully those pictures which are available in the Google also, that you see that 4 lines will be straight and 1 line will be crossed. And the cross is supposed to be your thumb. Thumb goes across. So therefore, that later on became letter V. And 2 V's together become 10. 1 V on top, another V at the bottom becomes 10. The whole Roman count stopped at 10. It did not go beyond that. Mathematics never progressed. You know that. Aryabhatta has given a 0, and that 0 has increased the mathematics. So we had that mathematics much before Western science could think of it, because their science developed only very recently, whereas we were 10,000 years old from this Sanatana Dharma. Yoga is the way of life. So we had all this. Same way that there were several things which in our culture we had, which was not there in the Western culture. One such thing is about this calendar. They have only 10 months. So actually 10 months that they had, but what happened was that as they progressed, see that the winter used to, Christmas used to postpone, and this Easter would postpone. So they were finding it difficult. So therefore that they thought, if you want to readjust it, you had to have 1 more month together in that. So therefore, Saint Augustine has given us a month called as Julius Caesar time that they have included 1 month called as July. July is later on introduced. Later on, that was not sufficient, therefore they have added one more month called as St. Augustine's name, and that's what is August. So these 2 months were not there earlier, they introduced later on. Otherwise, every month was only 30 days, but then even that was not suitable, so therefore that they have changed this also, 31, 30, 31, 30, like that they have changed. That's why they have meddled with all these things. All these things happened in the last about 1000 years, 1500 years. Before that, they have only 10 months. Now then what happened? Even that 12 months that they have and given all these things, still that there was a problem. Because the calculations of a month or a date and all that, according to the linear level that you could see that. But when you go to the global level, that means to say when you send a spacecraft onto the space and then goes around the Earth in a different orbit and then comes down on the Earth, their calculations were supposed to be that the spacecraft, first spacecraft, supposed to fall in Atlantic Ocean, but it fell out in Pacific Ocean. Why? Because there was an error. Where is that error introduced? Now let me give you the idea that's connected with the calendar. Their calendar, if you remember, if you have seen anywhere, it is called as the Griffiths Observatory or Greenwich Observatory, that is there in England and also USA. In these observatories, you see that there is sundial. Have you come across that sundial? Actually, it is a circle, that is big circle placed on the earth, and then there is a pendulum which moves. And that pendulum by itself, it rotates by 365 days around the circle. So this is what divided into 12 months, 10 months, so therefore that it was 10 months. But then later on they found out that it was not sufficient, so we had to change it. So therefore 12 months were added. That means to say their whole calendar is based on the sun. That's why it is called as solar calendar. Whereas Indian system is supposed to be lunar calendar. Solar calendar depends upon only one parameter, that's what is the movement of the sun. Or movement of the earth around the sun, that's the only thing, that parameter that they had. Whereas Indian system always had this lunar calendar. Lunar calendar means it's not just, of course, that in the Arabic countries that they follow this moon, but they only follow the moon for the, Ramadan, etc., breaking the fast. So they sight the moon and then they say, some mullah says that I have seen the moon, so therefore everybody accepts that they have seen the moon. So this is how basically it is going on. When we say Indian calendar, it is not just lunar calendar, means moon, but it is night calendar. And night calendar has different concepts that are there. That means basically the night sky, when you look at it, there are stars, there are constellations, and there are planets. And when you carefully look at the planet, the night sky, then you can see that the planets move in one direction and the constellations move in one direction, and therefore planets and the stars move in a different direction. So these are the three different parameters that we have in the night sky. What earlier people they used to do it is that they used to place a huge oil plate, and then an oil plate they see the reflection of the moon, reflection of the night sky, and dots, and you follow the dots as time passes. You can see that different kinds of movement will be there. And one movement which is supposed to be constellation movement is supposed to be also year, and then month is supposed to be the movement of the stars, and the planet movement is the days. That's why days are named after planets, so like that they are there. So we had three different levels of observation. That's why our calendar is not a static calendar, it's a dynamic calendar. And our dynamic calendar has 5 different limbs. That's why it is called as Panchanga. And what are these Panchangas? Tithescha Shriyamapnotu Varvat Vayushchavardhanam Nakshatra Dharate Papam Yoga Droga Nivaranam and Karna Karya Siddhascha Panchanga Paramukti. That means you are affected by all these things in your daily activities, and that was really beautifully recorded in our scriptures and the Calendar. And this Panchanga, which was there, say, 5,000, 7,000 years ago, whatever that is said in Ramayana, today also it holds good. So that means we have never changed this calendar. As I said that Western calendar has undergone so many changes, Indian calendar did not undergo changes because it's a dynamic calendar. You can see that Indian calendar, day will not start with the sunrise. Day will not complete with the sunset. Today, Tithi is supposed to be the day. It would start somewhere in the afternoon. Tomorrow's Tithi would start somewhere in the morning. That means it's a very dynamic calendar. Similarly, we have months also like that dynamic. It's not the same thing that every day, every month starts in a particular way. But there is a proper calculation that's there involved. And therefore, what happens is, it has a self-regulating correcting mechanism within that, which the modern calendar did not have it. So therefore, basically our calendar, whatever that is described about the sun solstice is in Mahabharata, exactly today that you can calculate and find out on that day, it happened, that the moon solitude happened, the sun solstice happened. So these things we can find out. So we had 5 different locations in India and this whole Bharat where these calculations used to be done. Various Pandits have developed the ideas about it. One is in the Montekappal in Mysore, another is in Pune, and third was in Bengal, and fourth in Himalayas. So like that, there were 5 different locations where these calculations were done. We have 5 different kind of Panchangas that are there. And that's why we very clearly that we indicate where you are, according to that all these parameters will also hold good. These people, because that it's not just only linear calendar, it's a complicated calendar, it needs to be calculated. It's like the way that, I don't know whether you remember earlier days when we were all kids, at that time we had rupee, ana, paisa, this thing, and there was a division of 3 different. Everywhere that these 3 different divisions were there, one is simple, second one is, that's why days are supposed to be the first level, and the month is the next level, and then the years are at the higher level. So these are the 3 different kind of calculations involved in our calendar. A lot of people today also sit down, they do the calculations, Pandits do that, people have that idea. Unfortunately, what happened is that we have separated our wonderful, extraordinary scientific calendar from our day-to-day life. We only follow the Western calendar. I wish that we get back to that Indian calendar to see that in our activities that they do it. But there were some people, today also they are there, those days also were there, who calculate on the fingers. It was a very interesting thing, that you don't have to take the paper and pen, you could calculate that. There are few people here and there today, but they are also doing it. But earlier people used to do it. In Mahabharata time, there is a very interesting story about that. One person who could do the calculations on that finger was supposed to be Arjuna. And it is connected with that. What happened was, Krishna finished his studies in Sandipani Ashram. Then what was the mission? The rishis came and told him that your mission is to re-establish Dharma. So Krishna said, for establishing Dharma, that I need some proper teacher, proper army force and all that, lineage. So he said, who are they? Kunti's children. But at that time, by that time, Kunti's children were already, they assumed that they died in the war, in this Lakshagriha. So somebody said that, but Lakshagriha, they died. No, they did not die, they are hiding somewhere. Only thing is that a right opportunity to bring them out. So Krishna said, okay, I will bring them out and see that Dharma can be established. So that's how Krishna's mission of establishing Dharma started. And how to bring them out? Then he went to Drupada and said that, look, Draupadi is somebody, she is an extraordinary, wonderful lady. And her Swayamvara has to be very special. It should not be ordinary kind of a thing. He said, what is that you suggest? He said, you do this Matsya Yantra. Matsya Yantra, who breaks the Matsya Yantra is supposed to be the one who marries Draupadi. But then Drupada said that there is only a person we know that who breaks the Matsya Yantra, that's what is Arjuna. And Arjuna died. And the Lakshagriha, now he doesn't exist. So, but who will do that? Krishna said, somebody or the other will come, don't worry about it. Somebody like Arjuna, better than Arjuna will come. So let's have it. So he convinces them. But then when he convinced, then it was made an announcement. And then he goes to, the announcement definitely reaches Duryodhana. Then he goes to Duryodhana and says that, look, Draupadi's Swayamvara is announced, why don't you go there? He said, look, I'm not interested. No, it's a prestige question. You are the Guru of Shakti, therefore that you should go and marry Draupadi. So he encourages Duryodhana to go for that. And Duryodhana said, but I can't know about the Matsyatar and all those things. I'm a dumb fellow. No, it doesn't matter. Somehow, who can cook, you can do that. He sends it. But then at the same time, he goes to Balram. See, Krishna's strategy is extraordinary. He goes to Balram and says that, look, Duryodhana is going for the Draupadi Swayamvar. Yeah, maybe Draupadi Swayamvar is there. But I am not interested. You are not interested for your Swayamvar. But Duryodhana is going, he is after all your student. You should go and encourage him. Oh, yes, my student is there, so I should go and encourage. So he makes Balrama to go with him. And then they go there. All the kings, princes, they were coming and sitting, and then Duryodhana enters. The moment Duryodhana enters, Balrama was excited, then Duryodhana has come. Krishna says, no, I am waiting for somebody else. Okay? You brought me here for Duryodhana, and you are waiting for somebody else. Who is that? Then I will tell you, I will let you know. And not only that, I will let you know, but I need your help. See, this is what is, Balrama is supposed to be a king. So Balrama support Krishna wanted. So that's why he brought him there. I said, I will tell you when it is necessary. And then all the princes came and then they were doing all those things. Meanwhile, Krishna is looking at the others, not princes. The Brahmins were sitting there. In the Brahmins, he found out one person who was calculating on the fingers. Then immediately he recognized that must be Arjuna and said to Balrama, I need your support now. What is that? He said, all these princes will fail. And I will make an announcement that after the kings could not do it, then the chance should be given to Brahmanas. And you should support it. Balrama said, okay, whatever you say, I will support it. Because he has seen that in Brahmanas, one fellow is there. And then what happens is that, so all the princes fail. They said, princess failed, so let us stop this Swayamvara. Then Krishna gets up and announces that it's not that princess failed, Swayamvara should stop, next chance should be given to Brahmanas. They said, no, how can Brahmanas do a Swayamvara of the princess type? They said, how can they do it anyway? After all, princess failed, Brahmanas definitely failed. So Balrama gives the support to Krishna, saying that yes, Brahmanas can do it. Everybody peacefully sat up. At that point of time, now Arjuna comes up, and then Krishna says, now this fellow who is coming up is Arjuna, Kunti's son. Balrama was shocked. He said, Kunti's children died. Keep quiet. He is Arjuna. They did not die. They are coming. And now I will make an announcement, he is Arjuna, after he breaks. And then I need your support, that he is Arjuna. How much plan he does. And then Arjuna comes there and he looks at that Matsyendra. In one shot he breaks it. When he breaks it, immediately all the kings have become enraged. Princes were enraged. So they took their hands on their swords and all that. And Krishna makes an announcement, no, he is Kunti Putra Arjuna. And immediately Balrama says, yes, he is Kunti Putra. Whatever Krishna says, Balrama follows. And then immediately everybody becomes violent. Where are the other Pandavas? Immediately Krishna shows, these are the 5 Pandavas sitting at various places, in Brahmana, they have come up. Now anybody can beat them? Nobody can beat them. This is what he has done. You know what is that Matsyentra? Matsyentra in Mahabharata referred to as Kalayantra. Kalayantra is the time. And what is this time? Actually, when you see the calendar which gives us the time, it is nothing but one layer it is called as constellation, second layer is what is called as the stars, and third layer is planets. The third layer is what is the weeks, days, and the second layer is what is month, and constellation is what is the years. And our calendar is 60-year calendar. And that's what today I read about the year, month, and also the paksha. That means these are the things which are very important. How deeply that this calendar is connected with our culture. And this is what I presented this, and this is what is there in Mahabharata. Kalayantra they have given. So therefore, let us try to revive. This is only one aspect of the Hindu culture, as I said. Zero is also another thing which is brought about. Similarly like that, there are several things which our culture, Sanatana Dharma has given. and yoga is a way of life in which that we found out. So therefore, basically, let us try to encourage all our Hindu thoughts, our Sanatana Dharma ideas, so that we can take it to the people. It's not just only for us, but for the sake of the whole world, because where the world was still groping in the dark at that point of time, we already knew about various things like metallurgy, this calendar, everything like that. Now let us come to the yoga. In the third chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he gives us this idea also, Patanjali, that he says, if you do the sanyama on the stars, says, if you do the sanyama on the stars, nakshatra, then he says, kala gamana, that means to say time, you will understand about that. When Patanjali said that, this is what is the idea, that you go to the stars, you go to the planets and all that, do the sanyama on that, that's what is the measure of time that we have in the form of Indian calendar. So this calendar is something which is extraordinary. It's a part of our yoga, it's a part of the Sanatana Dharma, it's our culture. Once again, wish you all the best. Thank you.
Shanti Mantra. Oh.